Tired of winning the tailgate but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squaring Around with Jacob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
Oh, Andy, what happened last night? You know, I feel kind of like a National Signing Day hungover-ish. Like, oh, who did we take home last night? What's their story?
Kind of yes and no, because there was enough commitments in the last month and a half that it wasn't like super shocking. Like, I don't think anything yesterday that happened was all that surprising, except you being the face of the thumbnail. But besides that, it was kind of like par for the course. Also, Texas freezing. That was kind of out of the. Didn't pick that up. Thanks, global warming.
You know, I knew that was going to happen. Like, basically, as soon as I tweeted about it, I tweeted I was like, hey, does this change anything for National Signing Day? Question mark. And people were talking to me like I was crazy. And I was like, okay, whatever. Not like I have a meteorologist literally right in front of me at my real job. And this is just a fucking side project for us. But what do I know, right? I don't know anything about the weather.
Neither is a meteorologist. Don't tell people that, because now next time you predict the weather and it's wrong, it's like, well, he's got a meteorologist. Of course he's wrong. Meteorologists are never right. I'm very anti-meteorologist.
The thing is that Punxsutawney Phil this is what I ran in my show today. If you're not watching Ken's 5, hey, help me out. But if Punxsutawney Phil's getting inducted into the Meteorology Hall of Fame this year.
Is he really?
He has legitimate beef, like, with meteorologists. Not singling anybody out in particular, but there's some Mets out there that are like, hey, I went to Mississippi State, I went to Texas A&M, I went to these, top tier programs to tell people what I believe is going to happen in the next 7 days. And that freaking rodent.
I don't know what the difference between a bookie and like meteorologist is, because both of them give predictions, and sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. But I'll tell you, meteorologist never had his kneecaps broken, and I know plenty of bookies that walk with a limp. So I don't know. Just something to think about. Punxsutawney Phil and I have a lot in common, Jacob. I don't know. Both of them are rodents. Both of them. But I could have told you a while ago that we were going to have a longer winter, because I am in the bosom of Mother Winter right now. It is very cold.
You're nestled right there. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to talk about Groundhog until later, but I'm glad we'll get that out of the way, because I really do like that fact. It's hilarious. Anyway.
I just can't believe that. That's just so shocking to me.
No, like you were saying, it's kind of like, this whole signing day process is like getting with somebody after you've already been matched with them on Tinder for like months, and you just like have avoided
Sure. I don't know why you're forcing this metaphor.
It's fine. Because I worked really hard on it. That's why. Don't worry, there's another metaphor coming too.
I get it. Again, I say I kind of had an idea of who we were getting.
Yeah, for sure. Because they've been, as soon as G.J. got there, they basically started rolling out recruits, and then that's when the Take Back Texas stuff happened. I'll say that Texas State Twitter was at like an all-time peak, and then everybody was asking us for the Zoom code to get in. And no, we will not share a Zoom code to ruin any relationship we have with
I will tell you right now, Texas State fans, you're lucky that your boy Zimmel's not down there, because we all would have been in that Zoom call, because I would have shared that link so quick on a burner account. You guys would have been like, hey, this, it would have been bad. It would have been bad. I'm glad another one of those situations where it's good that the actual journalists were there and not the people who play journalists on television.
I thought about forwarding it to you so you could be in, but I knew you were working at that same time too. So that kind of, I had this press conference at 1:00, and like Zimmel was saying earlier, it was super cold in Texas. I had plans to go to San Marcos, but then they started closing down the school, and Kelly shut down the school.
Wow, what's the point? What's the point of going? What's the point of going to San Marcos for a Zoom deal? You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for you to go to San Marcos.
Well, no, I had plans to go when it was still in person, because on Monday they had announced that it was in person.
Yeah.
And so that's why they kept making that reference to Kef and the Snow Dogs thing with Cuba Gooding Jr. By the way, we were 4 or 5 when that movie came out. Still holds up. Brent doesn't like it, but I think he should give it a shot because it's an instant classic.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I watched it one time during a rainy day indoor recess. It's fine. It's not anything to write home about.
Are you kidding me? So it's about a disgruntled dentist who has this kind of like trauma in his life, and so he goes out to, I don't know where it is, whatever, North Pole, but he tries to go figure out his life, and he ends up, entering a sleigh dog race. So.
Who does that sound like to you? Disgruntled
Me.
person moves to. Sounds like you.
Kind of, yeah.
No,
I went to
was gonna.
Corpus Christi, baby.
Yeah, okay. Me and Cuban Gooding Jr. Same track.
Sand dogs, snow dogs.
This disgruntled man goes to the north, hangs out with some dogs, ends up winning some races. Sounds like your boy. All I'm saying, it's a fine movie. I'm Team Brandt here, though. I'll be the
Team
one
Brandt.
person. Team Brandt. The movie's fine. It's not anything to write home about.
Yeah, I mean, okay, whatever. I'm gonna get off the snow dogs thing. Was there anything yesterday that stuck out to you, particularly in that press conference? I have a few takeaways, but
yeah, what's up with Kenny in the car? That was the thing that caught me. I was like, if it's supposed to be if it was scheduled for an in-person deal, why are you in the car? Like,
well, not only that, right? Because signing day is February 1st every year. So whether or not he got the job at Texas State, I mean, obviously he wouldn't be moving because that's ended up what happened is he was supposed to move in January 31, 2023, and then snow, ice in Texas, and Chris K gave us all the snow day pass. But yeah, so he was moving.
So he was moving. He's moving his stuff, and that's why he was doing it from the car.
Physically moving his stuff. Yeah, it was a moving day. He explains it too.
And, I'm actually moving today, so you see me. I'm in my new truck that I got here down to San Marcos Dodge. So excited about that. And we were supposed to move yesterday because of the weather. It got pushed back today. So not the best circumstances, but I'm here and I was hoping to see Kef in the dog sled, but I wasn't able to get down.
Okay, that threw me off. I was like, "What is going on here?"
He also basically shot a promo for San Marcos Dodge in there, so hit him with the NIL deal.
No kidding. Yeah, no, it's just like that was honestly biggest takeaway. Interior of the car, spectacular. Better than a lot
awesome.
of interiors.
We got a little Dodge Ram 1500 Longhorn edition. You got all kinds of good bells and whistles over here, and so really excited and happy.
I thought it looked really good. I mean, I get it. But here's the thing. I want a mid-season interview with him. Let's talk in January of next year. So we have a whole season, him on the recruiting trail. I want to do another press conference where he's in the car. And I want every single one of those, like, you know what I mean? That could be a whole, like, little bit Texas State's doing. Hey, here at marketing department, get with a car company, do all of your press conference from the back of a car. Why not? Hey, look at me making money. Money moves.
I think if we did that last year with Spav and he's in the backseat of a Corolla or something sponsored by San Marcos Toyota, it just adds insult to injury. Like, oh, coach, you're on mute. Coach, you're on mute.
Like Kia Soul in the back of the Kia Soul doing it.
Yeah. No.
I don't know. That was a big takeaway. I don't know. I the other thing we talked about last week a little bit, we were talking about the quarterback situation. And I said we could tee this up today or we could tee it up in 3 months. Let's tee it up today, man. Let's just pull the Band-Aid off. Do you like the fact, because, again, you were there, sounds like there's not a quarterback competition. Sounds like they're just giving the keys to a guy, which we've seen happen in the past with Brady kind of got that deal too, where it was like, here's the keys. We've seen other quarterbacks kind of get the deal where it's like, all right, this is the guy. Do you like that Hornsby's the guy?
We've been in separate circumstances with this happening, like where it's like there's slight competition, or it's like it's basically two guys who are pretty much even Steven, or like a freshman, like right out of college, like how Vitt was, right? And he could have been like the next guy. And then there's like, oh, is he coming out of the woodwork? I'd much rather just have the head coach be like, no, this 4-star recruit that we worked very hard to get, he's our guy right now. Unless something horribly bad happens, that's our guy.
Or horribly good.
Or horribly good, yeah.
Or horribly good. Like, hey, this guy came into camp. Like, I think Ty Evans is still on the roster. Mm-hmm. Double check me on that. We've seen a lot of Ty Evans edits. I have not seen that kid throw a pass, but it seems like he's got a single
pass. Nobody in that quarterback room has thrown a pass.
In Texas State, though.
In Texas State, yeah. Malik has played some.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was thinking to myself, like, I've seen a lot of Ty Evans highlights here, or not highlights, but edits of like him on a train. I think there's one Twitter account has him on a train, the Ty Evans train. Like, I don't know, man. Every time I put my eggs in the basket, it seems like that quarterback, Brady excluded, kind of up and down. You know
That's
what I
why I'm
mean?
kind of sticking away from him too. I solved the Malik Hornsby case. I'm just gonna leave it at that. He goes to Texas
Okay,
State.
yeah, yeah. So have you? I have said, and I've been on the record here, and Texas State fans, you can quote me on this. You've seen it before. I have said, if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one quarterback.
Mhm.
You need to have one guy. Now, granted, February 2nd, I'm not in love with the fact that we're just like, all right, yeah, that's the guy. So we haven't seen a camp. We haven't seen anything like that yet. I would like to have a little bit more of, tease me a little bit. Tell me that there's another guy in camp that can still be a quarterback or whatever. However, having one quarterback would not be a bad idea. Having the guy would be kind of cool.
I'm really excited that Malik's here. He's been awesome since he's been in the building. Extremely hard worker. The speed is real. We time those guys almost twice a week, 3 times a week in the competition, and he's right up there with the fastest guys on the team, if not the fastest. So he's been awesome. Everything we've hoped for so far. I'm really excited to do some football stuff with him. Coming up when spring ball starts. So Malik's been awesome.
Well, the other thing is Kenny, pretty positive, pretty excited, pretty quote happy. A lot of bowl success in that interview. How'd you feel about that? Like, I feel like I'm interviewing you now, but like, what was your takeaway from that?
Well,
Because
I'm honored, Zimmel. Thank you so much for considering me.
I kind of saw that, and I was not too thrilled. I've been burned before. I'm a scoring lover. I don't like to hear that we're going to win bowl games when the other guy told me we're going to win championships.
And let me set this straight with, the expectations here at Texas State. We're going to win. We're going to win games. We're going to win championships. We're going to win bowl games. All right, and we're going to win by playing a exciting brand of football.
And the guy before that told me we were going to win games.
And the guy before that told you we were going to win games. And the guy
I don't remember if Franchione said we were going to win games. I think he just said we were going to have fun.
He said the athletic department's going to pay for my country club dues.
So again, the floor is yours. Your takeaway from a very positive head coach.
Yeah, it was super positive. I mean, that's kind of like what all of these are, right? Everybody across the board on National Signing Day, maybe minus Jeff Traylor because he's never happy anyway, but was very happy yesterday. Even them, I think they have the highest rated recruiting class like of all time, UTSA.
Oh, for UTSA.
Of their own.
Come on, man.
I had to run that propaganda in my show too. So,
But hold on. It's a young program.
Very young program. And so I guess to hear G.J. kind of say like where he's at and stuff, the biggest like positive takeaway is just like even the guys like right they've been everywhere. We had the whole episode on it last week. You can look it up. But he was saying like even like they were targeting guys, right? Like the Taylor Starling, South Oak Cliff, right? Didn't get him. Obviously, he ended up going to UNT, but just reestablishing that relationship with South Oak Cliff, who's put out like every single D1 player this year. They had a bunch of dudes go off. So yeah, reestablishing those connections, kind of like, and he was saying too, right? The Texas State has a bunch of alumni all over the place, and there wasn't one school that he said was like, "Hey, I went to Texas State. I'm super excited that y'all are here." They always had a guy like that. And so that was pretty encouraging too. Just to always have a Bobcat somewhere lurking in the shadows. Like, thank God this team is back.
Well, let me spin that negatively because I'm a negative Nancy. They've had Bobcats in all these high school hallways for how long, and nobody was telling the kids to go to Texas State? Like, what the hell are you doing? What type of alumni network do we have? That because I mean it's very much a teacher school. There's a ton of teachers that come through Texas State. I have been in a lot of high school classrooms, teaching the youth. I see the Texas State flags on the wall. I see the diplomas on the wall in a lot of these classrooms. What do you mean you're not telling them to come to Texas State? Like, you have a 4-star recruit in your classroom and you're just like, this other school is really good too. No, send them to Texas State. What are you doing? What are these high school coaches doing?
You know what it is? It's that like SWT mentality because both my parents went to Texas State. And so my whole life I've known about this institution, right? Texas State was not my first choice where I wanted to go to school. I don't even say where I wanted to go to school because it doesn't matter now. I love Texas State, but that door opened for me, right? Texas State got me in, and I didn't get into my top choice, and so all of a sudden I saw Texas State in a new light. These are the people giving me a chance. This is my first offer, if you will. GJ used that too. You know how important that first offer means to you.
I think one good story from this signing class is Drew Donnelly, a guy that I identified really early when I was at Hawaii. Receiver transferring from Cincinnati. I believe I was one of his first or second offers out of high school, and had that relationship with him. So when he went in that portal, we were able to get it done fast and without him even, coming on an official visit, because of the relationship that we had and being the first offer is big. You'll see that a lot with our staff. We want to be the first offer if we can. Now we want to do our due diligence and that do the whole process. But if we can be someone's first offer, that's something special to these kids and their high school coach. And, you believed in them first. And that's what happened with Drew. We believed in him first and to get him, someone with his type of speed, talking about Drew a little bit, his production, you see him, going down as a gunner at Cincinnati and the speed he has. He ran a 10-1 in high school. We feel like this guy can come in here and make an immediate impact. So really excited to have Drew.
I think it's really just I don't know. He also talked about athletic support from the, obviously Don and Kelly, and how important those two have been in just getting recruits, not only on campus, but hey, this is bigger than football, right? You're going to have success on the field.
I need to
also have success just here as a student.
You show me a 20-something-year-old kid who talked to either Don or Kelly and was like, that was the thing that pushed me over the fence. It was in between UTSA, UNT, and University of Texas. But, I shook hands with Kelly Dampus, and that's the thing that really got me here. If that happens, shout out. And, Prez Dampus and Don have done a ton of good stuff, and I love those guys. They seem really cool. I don't buy that. I buy it's mostly the head coach and the coaching staff that's bringing these guys in.
He also talked about just players that he has now and how he was pretty excited with what he has. Obviously, things are kind of subject.
He brought the whole team with him.
Yeah, exactly. So whole team.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I really like the team I have. Well, great, because you won a bunch of games with them last year. If he was like, I hate my team, well, shit, dude. What? What do you mean? That's a given. That's the thing, and that's the other big takeaway. Is that these press conferences, shout out to you, shout out to Kev, Carl, Colton, everybody who was there. You guys do a great job, and you're a very good journalist. A lot of these people don't say anything. And that's not this conference. That's every conference. They don't give us a whole lot of stuff. So the fact that you got what you got yesterday was good on you guys, because the most of the time across the board, across all college athletics, a lot of these press conferences are not a whole lot going on.
Well, now's the time to kind of be like, hey, it's hip hop happening over here, because they're not putting anything on tape right now. They could say that they're going to do whatever, and it doesn't matter.
House party lingo is that there?
It's that SWT mentality, man.
I guess so. Yeah, that's fair. Shout out to you guys. So DB room, we got 17 of them now.
Everybody's a DB, pretty much.
Yeah, right.
And one of the DBs is a receiver too. Josh Eaton, what's up?
DBs are receivers who can't catch. That is what they've said. Look, Texas State was one of the quote best defenses in the Sun Belt last year. Do you think that all of these DBs are going to affect that? Do you think that we're going to have a better defense this year with a bunch of freshmen and transfers?
I think people would just be afraid to throw it more. I mean, Texas State has proven time and time again that they can't stop the run, can't do the run themselves. So, I don't think that's going to change on our scouting report.
And that's a very fair point. That's a very fair point, because I believe that having one of the best pass defenses, in part because you can't stop the run, not great. That's just me. Now, the defense looked really good in 2020. The whole team looked a lot better in 2020 than they did in 2021 and 2022. Good. We had a good defensive class, I think, this year. We talked about it last week about the guys that they're bringing in. I am not completely sure what this defense is going to look like this year. That's my not so hot take. My poor
a lot
take.
of shifts, and the way that GJ was saying it too is everybody, like, to get to the league, right, you have to be able to play man, and that's what they play.
Did
Is
he think we're putting
man
people in the
defense.
league?
Yeah. So that's what they sold Josh Eaton on, is the ability to play man coverage and, try and put some tape on, get to the league. So that's what they're going to play a lot of. You're going to see a lot of like single looks.
What we do on defense is unique. We play so much man coverage, and that's how you get to the NFL. Everyone can play zone, who can play man. So that was kind of the pitch to him. He played both ways in high school, and so you never know. We'll try to get him over there on offense some and see what he can do. But another high profile length. We needed length. He's another speed guy, another sub 11 flat 100 guy with great speed, great length. So we're really excited about Josh as well.
I'll tell you, I'm excited. If he's talking about putting guys in the league, shout out to that. But I will say it for the first time, you can mark it down on the tape. If you think that because you were good at Incarnate Word, or if you're a fan of the Bobcats that thinks because the head coach and the players were good at Incarnate Word, that they're going to be good in the Sun Belt Conference, I have news for you. That is not how college football works, and I don't think that is what I'm hoping. That's not the mindset that they have right now. Because just because JMU, they had the transition in the East and looked really good and beat a lot of teams, does not mean that same formula will work for Texas State. I'm putting that on the record now. We're going to talk about a ton. I guarantee you the first time Texas State has a long stretch of winless, say they go 3 weeks without a win, this will come up again. I hope that does not happen, and I hope that we do not talk about this a lot. But my point being, there's a lot of optimism. I'm optimistic. I'm very excited. National Signing Day. It's supposed to get your loins going. You're supposed to feel the juices flow. But brother, I've been burned too many times to think that this is all going to turn out to be peaches and cream.
And the kind of where I was like, wait a second, coach, is when Carl Schoening asked how much of like UIW team was going to transfer to Texas State. And
it's like over 50%, isn't it?
No, like not even that way. I'm talking about like the schematics of it, like the offensive defensive schemes.
The vibes.
Transfer over. Yeah, and vibes, obviously. Yeah. We're a big vibe podcast.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. You got me?
You're good, Coach. GJ, go ahead.
All right, sorry. Yeah. And what was about UIW, Carl?
Yeah, so how much of what you did at UIW are you carrying over in terms of like, the boundary and field corners, the star back, the 3-back on offense, the up-tempo offense, all the above?
Don't write a book about us or anything. Don't give us any scouting reports.
I've already tweeted all of this before, Coach.
All right, Carl. Yeah, a lot of that's going to carry over. Obviously, every year you're going to have tweaks, and you got to fit the offense and defense to the personnel. So we'll kind of see more of what we have once spring ball starts and get these guys out on the field and see what they can do. But, yeah, exactly what you said. A lot of that will carry over.
But he was basically like, all of it. What do you mean? Like it's the same thing. Whoop, whoop.
And I'm telling you, man, like
foul drag, foul drop.
I hope that is true. But when you look at the teams especially in the West, because the West last year was kind of up and down, there's a bunch of different teams. We'll only focus on our division. Don't look at the East. Look only at the West. Troy is going to come back really good. South Alabama's coming back really good. And I hope that the offense can really open up. But that is the best thing that those two teams do is defense. And they also happen to have really good running offenses. The two things that we were not good at last year was moving the ball down the field in the run game. We struggled in the pass game. We struggled stopping the run. When you look at the teams in the West, those two teams kind of feel like they're going to own it. And then, of course, you got Lafayette that was really good 2 years ago. They're trying to get back on that conversation. The West is going to be real tough. And if you let me say this. Kenny said that they were going to go to a bowl game this year.
Our plan is to go to a bowl this year, but we work every day and we're building and we want to build a champion, and that's what we're breaking it out every day to champions, and that's Sun Belt, and conference champions, that's bowl champions, champions on and off the field. So to your question, we want to be bowl champions, and we feel like we can deliver that to you this year.
Do you think that right now we're 4 months away from the season, 5 months away from the season, I guess? Do you think that that's realistic? Do you think a bowl game, a bowl bid, 5-6 wins, 6 wins? Do you think that's a realistic benchmark for this team?
I think it's a realistic goal. Whether or not they get there is a different thing. I think being bowl eligible should be their criteria for success, like we talked about last week. Okay. I do think they have enough talent to make some shifts, but that's a tough, you're just talking about how tough. Cure Bowl champions, Troy. I look forward to the Cure Bowl every year. So,
ULM is going to be bad again. Arkansas State's going to be bad again. So those are two automatics, right? And then you look at South Alabama, Lafayette, and Troy. And then there's us. And it's like, if we can beat two of those three teams or one of those three teams, well, look, you already got your 3 wins there. You just need to get 3 more. Mm-hmm. That's very doable. But if we have a situation like we did last year where we're just inconsistent, that is the thing that I did not hear yesterday when talking to Kenny, is what is the goal for consistency, right? Like, where are we when we talk, like, consistency is just habit, right? Can you get in the habit of winning? Can you get in the habit of working out? Can you get in the habit of doing the right thing? And you don't know that yet because you haven't seen these guys on the field. And that's something that we'll talk about in spring ball. But that, to me, is the bigger deal here, is can they be consistently consistent? Can they consistently be good? Can they consistently get better? And hopefully they can.
They are breaking out of their huddles with champions. So
does that do a lot?
Champion mindset, yeah. That's what I do every morning. So
okay. Roll out of bed, you look at the wife, you say, championship mentality. Team break, yeah.
Championship mentality, ready to break.
Yeah, make the eggs, get the bacon going. Look, I don't know. Maybe that's something. Maybe that is, right? They say that all winning starts at tying your shoes and making your bed in the morning, right? That's supposed to be like a thing. But maybe I personally don't really believe in all that. But maybe that's the case.
No, I mean, it starts at the very ground floor, like what are you doing, like when nobody is watching, kind of stuff.
But the conversation that we had 6 years ago when Withers was hired was, okay, we need to have a complete culture flush, and the conversation we're having now feels a very similar conversation, Jacob. So is it still is it still the same type of thing? Has there been no progress in 6 years when it comes to Texas State culture? Because I don't believe that. I cannot buy that.
Technically, this is just the same conversation over the past 3 coaching administrations, right? We're talking about Withers, talking about buy-in. Talking about Spav, talking about buying in. G.J, talking about buying in.
Is that because it's the first year that we have this conversation? Okay.
Yeah, because it's a lot of inaugural seasons, and it's like, hey, we got to start somewhere, right? What do we have?
Yeah. I guess so. You're right.
It would be different, right? If like we had Jake and then Jake had some good success, and then let's say Jake went to Oklahoma, or I don't know, whatever. Insert whatever school you felt he deserved to go to after then. Maybe Berkeley again. But then we went to Zach, his brother, right? And then they could continue that. We wouldn't be having that conversation. It would be a completely different scenario.
Gotcha. Okay.
Not too bad.
All in all, good signing day. What would you grade the signing day? If you
it was great.
If you got to make a graphic for it, what would you give it?
I don't know if I would give it an A-. Definitely, like, if this was a pass-fail class, right, at Texas State, pass, for sure. If this was a letter grading system, Texas State doesn't do A- or A+. UT does. I would give this class just an A. Solid. Did everything we needed to do, 90%.
Okay. Gotcha.
You?
Put it on a graphic.
You don't like that graphic, do you?
I just don't like saying A-. That's just, and we've made jokes about it, but it's just like,
That was from The Athletic too, right?
I don't understand why you would make a graphic about a meet. Because, all right, here, this is the same thing with the Wars. We can do that tangent that I go on every week with you. The Squaring Around podcast, Jacob, we're giving out an award. Okay?
Are we?
Texas State, A+ National Signing Day.
Oh, okay.
I like number 1.
I'll vote with that.
Nobody does it better.
Yeah, I second your motion.
Of all the Texas State draft classes this year, this is the best one. A+. Like, cool.
I appreciate you as a member of the media buying into this program, so.
Everybody gives awards out. They don't mean anything. This grade means nothing from The Athletic, so don't put it on a graphic. And
that's like my mentality too. Is like this is a press conference. Like this is the time to speak good about the program. What are they going to do? Bring G.J. Kinne in his new truck and talk about all the horrible things going on behind the scenes, or things he wants to change?
What's the lowest you put on and we'll talk about this tomorrow when we talk about the graphics, guys. What's the lowest? What's the lowest grade that you make a graphic for? B+? B-?
I don't think you go into the B's, to be honest.
Really? So it just has to be an A.
Yeah,
see.
A or above.
Mine's A plus. Like if it's A plus or A, because you don't know if it's an A plus or not. If it's just A, okay, A is my line. A minus is just a little bit below that. I would not have made a graphic. That's me. Whatever.
But like you were a good student at Bandera High. Would you go run home to your mom and tell her, "Hey, I got a B in this class. I really love school."
I'll tell you. You were talking about the schools you got into, like your first choice. I chose Texas State for the affordability, not so much because I could not get into other schools. We'll put it that way. So I liked Texas State for the affordability aspect and the fact that when I was there, Bikini Hill was on fire. That place was great. A lot of rainbows, a lot of butterflies, great professors. Love the fact that the Trinity building was built and the radio station was not on a third floor of on a top of a hill. Love the fact it was down a hill. That was great. But yeah, no, Texas State was great.
We didn't even talk about this. Did you like Kelly's subtle, not so subtle shot at Spav?
I think the only people who should be shooting shots at other people on Twitter are fans. I think it's getting at this point, man. It's getting to be a lot between Withers and Spav and Kelly. It's just like, can everybody just not? Can we stop it, please? Like, I understand for the content machine, hashtag content. Like, I'm here for it, but like, as a person who is getting up there in age, like, I'm getting too old for this. Man on Twitter. This is other man on Twitter. This is something that 15-year-old Andy would be all over. But 25-year-old Andrew is like, grow up.
You've turned a new leaf. You're not even the same person we had in college.
No, I'm not. I'm a much more humble and realistic fan, I think.
We talked about Groundhog Day, right? I want to go to the weather now with our groundhog. But do you think Texas State saw its shadow yesterday? Is it going to be kind of another dry season, or is it going to be a season of success?
Season of success. I'll go season of success. For football team for sure. Baseball and softball, I think baseball will be. I'm going to optimistically say we hit the same benchmark in conference. To say that we're going to go to a super regional is I hope that is what we do, but I think that like saying that is kind of like
there's people saying that we should host both regional softball and baseball. I thought that was ridiculous. That's never going to happen.
That's a lot. I mean, we have the facilities for it for sure. I think we have a nice enough facility to do it.
I think if we hosted one, that would be great. Like softball. That's amazing.
Will we be good enough? God, I hope so. I'm just saying, can we win the conference? Can we win the conference tournament? Those are the two things that I am like very locked in on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very locked in. Softball is going to be better. I think softball is going to crescendo. I think this is going to be the best year that they've probably had under Woodard, hopefully. The team looks really good. This is the first year that I'm actually looking at it and being like the pitching is A minus, A plus, whatever you want to say, and the hitting is coming back really strong. There was a couple years during the Randy Rupp era for Texas State fans that kind of remember the last great pitcher that they had, where the offense was kind of middling and Rupp was having to pitch one inning or one run, 2-run games and losing 3-2. You kind of don't want that. You would like your pitcher to give up a run a game, a run and a half a game and win a bunch. And I think that's kind of where they're at now. That the pitching is really good. The hitting is really good. The softball team, I think, will be set. Baseball team, kind of a crapshoot. We'll see. We'll see if they do what they did last year. They lost a lot of great talent. It's February. This month, we start baseball games. End of the month is when baseball really kicks off for Texas. So fingers crossed.
And this is Coach Woodard's 22nd or 23rd year. She's chasing win 800. I think she has like 760 wins all time right now. So what a beast.
800?
Yeah, chasing 800, win 800. So I think is that possible? They play more than 40 games? I think so with all the tournaments.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a lot. 800 wins?
I mean, you play 40 games a year for 20 years.
I guess so. I have my Cat Osterman card here. You want to see it?
Yeah, heck yeah, I want to see it.
My little
Cat, what's up?
My Olympic card. Yeah, man. Shout out to Cat, man.
Shout out, Cat. Thanks for meeting us that one time at the basketball game.
Some Wonder Woman action, dude. She's great.
So also on that softball front, talking about our girl, Jessica Mullins, preseason, named to the preseason Sun Belt Conference preseason pitcher of the year.
Now, you said something on Twitter. You said day one.
Day one.
We've been on this. and I'm going to disagree with you here.
Day one this season. How about that?
And I think I was on the Mullins train before you.
Okay.
Here's where I'm coming from. And this is not a competition of who's the bigger Bobcat fan.
Well, this is your podcast too, so I mean,
yeah. I'm just telling you that when she signed out of high school, I vividly remember.
Where'd she go to high school?
I do not remember where she went.
All right.
But I remember when we signed her out of high school, I remember sending it to our group chat for Star Sports, and being like, "This is a really good get," and then having somebody else be like, "Why is the story not done on this?" And it just completely went to the wayside. But I remember being like, "This is going to be really good," and she has been proven to be really good. I understand why we get one really good pitcher every class. I understand that you can't have multiple great pitchers because in softball you can pitch so many innings, so you don't need to go recruit multiple great pitchers. But man, it would have been sweet to have a player like this with Randy Rupp. You know what I mean? Just having like another great everyday starter, and I don't think that they ever had that with Rupp.
Well, it's because the defense was so good when Randy was there, and I don't think the bats were big enough back then.
Yeah.
Either, as they always got into those like single game situations, basically, where they would be up the whole game, and then the other team would score 2 runs in like 1 inning, and that was it.
I was gonna say I never remember a game being like 5-2 a Bobcat loss. It was always real close, and this year it's gonna be the same way. I think gonna be a lot of run win games.
There you go.
Get that? Say that 10 times fast. I think we're gonna win a lot of games by 2 or less runs.
And also happening in the athletics world, women's shot put ranked 6th in the nation. Ah!
Did you ever do shot put in high school, or were you?
Never, dude. Do you see how I was 145 pounds in high school?
Damn.
Track boy, ran the 400.
So, I was with the fat boys for whatever reason, throwing the discus and the shot put. And I remember throwing the shot put my sophomore year of high school, and it just in practice. I never did anything competitively. I never was very good at shot put. But I remember throwing it, and I felt my elbow click. And remember, I'm a pitcher, left-handed. I throw it, and I felt like my elbow click a little bit, and I was like, well, that's done. That was a fun shot put career. There's no way I'm going to hurt myself throwing a metal ball. Absolutely no shot. And I didn't. So that was
no
good.
Shot put.
No shot put, exactly.
So do you also blame that on your dad, or is that just a you problem?
I blame it on the coaches at Bandera High School.
You could be in the league. I could have a podcast with a major league pitcher right now.
We can talk off air, but I was having nightmares last night about the lack of coaching I got in high school.
The lack of coaching you got in high school?
Yeah. I should have got a lot more. If they would have focused on me more in practice about pitching and like mechanics and stuff, I'm telling you, if they ever make time travel, we're changing a lot of things. We're not killing Hitler or the dinosaurs. We're going back and making me a star because I have the plan now. I have a blueprint to get you in the league. Call me. Get the number on the bottom of the screen. I can get your kid into the pros. I got it.
1-800 calls him. Also in the track world, that men's 200 team also ranked 6th in the nation. Isn't that crazy?
A lot of outside the top 5 finishes is my takeaway.
Yeah. Hey,
top 5.
It's early in the season. There's still indoor stuff. So
can we?
I think
personally,
indoor is a lot weirder to run. You ever run in an indoor track? It's weird.
Nope. What do you think the highest they finished? You said the teams are 6th right now?
Yeah.
Women's shot put in men's indoor track is 6th.
Women's shot put finish at 1, dude. That's what I want.
Well, I'm asking, what do you think they fit? Because right now, early in February, where do you think they finish the season at?
Yeah, they don't want to throw out their shoulder. They don't want a Bandera High School moment.
Where do they finish? Answer the question.
Women's shot put 1. Men's 200 team probably 5. That's tough once you get up there in those times. You're running against yourself, basically. And what was the last one? Jessica Mullins. She's going to be the pitcher of the year.
Preseason pitcher of the year. Let's see if we can get it done.
Yeah. It's going around. Episode 10. Thanks,
Kinne,
everybody.
another good one.
All right, last person, Kef Cuba Gooding Jr. Chardello, go ahead.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.